bring an axe or anything, did you?
I did, but
Actually, Matt,
you have an axe truck?
yeah, I put an axe. Yeah, we could have an axe. Put up some of that.
Okay, I'll go grab it. Okay. I'm gonna have to hand your chair out so I gotta run to my truck.
Okay, me glitch, me glitch.
Yes, yes.
Can I put my chair up here too?
Anything else? Just the axe?
Can I have your attention for a minute here? You guys, one of the things you're going to notice back here, you're going to hear all kinds of birds singing back in here. They're all around us, and when we were in here, that's one of the things I noticed. Our men were working back here, and I'm going to say a few things about them in a minute here. All I want to say in introducing this ceremonial that we're going to do with the LCO women walkers is that this Pipestone quarry goes back over 1,000 years. We had a geologist in here from Madison a couple months ago. We were in here. Mark there and I were in here with these folks from the county and the state. And that geologist lady, she's also works for the anthropology center down in Madison. She said that the pipestone from here is that soft gray, much softer than what we have at LCO. And it's very similar to the soft gray down in southern Minnesota, which is supposed to be among the best in the world. So ours is right up there. Our people start coming here about 300 years ago. And back then, folks, our people from Lake Superior were moving down into this territory. And the Dakotas lived right down below here. This was actually their land back then, 300 years ago. And we didn't get along with them. We really skirmished a lot. There was some battles. But eventually, we took this land and we had settlements at Long Lake, just up northwest of here. We had settlements at Red Cedar Lake, just north of here. We went past it here. And then we had a settlement at Chautauqua Lake over here, a little bit northeast. We had a settlement at Rice Lake down below here, where that city is. That was a big Ojibwe settlement. It was an offshoot of LCO. Our headman, Nanangabe, and his father, KK, they both lived at Long Lake, and then Nanangabe moved his band just below here. And we had a settlement where Chautauqua, Wisconsin is, on that lake there. And we had a settlement west of here, over a place where they call Flambeau Farms, where the Chippewa River meets the Lac-de-Flambeau River. They used to call that Waswaganang, something like that. That was that place. We had Ojibwe settlements all around this big hill here. Now, Pipe Mustache, I think most people here remember Pipe. And Bill Sutton, Bill Baker. Oh, I just want to say more. There was more. We used to come up here. They brought us up here. We used to drive in so far and then we'd walk into this direction. There was a little logging road back here, and we'd get up that hill where we just came up there, and then we'd walk in here. And Pipe would always say, us younger guys, this was back in the early 70s, he'd say, boys, I want you to bring some bologna sandwiches. And that was our feast. He'd talk here. he would talk, and then there were some old guys from St. Croix, Old Man Merrill, Benny Rogers, others. They used to come here and meet up with us. We'd all be in here, and we'd sit on. We had some stumps in here then, and we'd go over here, and you could see where they went under that ledge underneath here. When we came here 2 months ago, this was all filled up, and there's 12 men who came in here early this week. I'm going to say their names because I want us to acknowledge the work they did here to fix this all up. Folks, 2 months ago when we came in here, we could barely get in here. There was logs all fall down. They're just brush and everything all over here. And these 12 guys first, I want to say Bob Charlo. He's the one that got this done. David Bisonet. He's been in here a couple times in the past few weeks. Tom Corbine. Where's Tom? Wilbur. Johnny Boy. Where are them guys? They were in here earlier. Bob. Where's Bob? Are they gone? James LeSueur. There he is. Who's the other guy that's with you? I don't remember.
Rescue.
What's his name? What's his
Worked
name?
up too hard.
James, what's his name?
Autism.
Oh. And there was a bigger guy,
John Thomas.
John Thomas. There's this guy right here. One of our guys, one of our workers right here, you guys. Mark Thayer. You guys haven't seen his pipes, the pipes that he makes. He's going to use this place. He's going to make some beautiful objects. There's others that want to get in here now. Mark Ojibwe. Mark. Man, you should see these guys work down here, carrying the big rocks out of there.
Wow.
Piling them up way back there. You see that rock pile. They lifted those out and they dug. Paul Demain. Bryce Crone. There's Bryce over here. You guys, we were in here a few days ago, and I never thought I'd see this logs out of here. Man, they worked hard. These guys chainsaws, they piled everything up, all brush away that was laying down here, and cleared this all out for us. I told these guys that years ago, 40-some years ago, we used to sit over here and we'd have a little fire over here somewhere. And those guys would pray. Those old timers back in the early 70s, they'd pray. And St. Croix guys would come over here and they'd all sit and talk and we'd all listen. You guys, they told us stories about this place. Lots of stories. The Ojibwe from Lac du Flambeau, Bad River, over there in Minnesota, they all came to this place. This was a sacred healing place. And people used to, from these villages I mentioned here, they used to send their people that were ill. If you lost a baby, you came up here and stayed for 3 or 4 days, healed. This place right here was a healing place. That's the stories they told us. They told us about being in here in around 1909 or 1910. They were telling us stories about that. And you know, as one time we left here after the people started chasing us out of here, And I remember they stood here and they looked at all of us young guys and they said, boys, don't abandon this place. They used to pray to a spirit that they said was straight up. There was one, I'm not talking about the creator, there was a spirit that looked over this place. And that's the one they prayed to. They told us that this was important for our tribes. All the Ojibwe need to come back here. The tribal chairman had somebody call me yesterday and he wants to come here. And I just think that we can't abandon this anymore.
No.
This man named John Parmenter is the first one that told me about the history of this place, how the billionaires and millionaires bought this land here after we lost it in the treaties, and how he bought it. A man by the name of Ezra Cornell bought this land and he bought it for $1.25 an acre. And he sold it for $225 an acre. And he purchased 1 million acres up in this region. The lands around our reservation. But Parmenter was the one that got me interested, and he brought me back to New York to talk to the people at the university who own the subsurface rights to this place. So everything that's below the surface belongs to Cornell University, named after that man that first bought this land and then sold it to the lumber people. So when I came back, I stopped at Barron County because I learned that they're the new owners of the surface. They own this whole area here. They made this a recreational park. We're in a recreational park right now. Now we got kicked out of here by some roughnecks. 1979 was, I think, the first incident. They threatened us with guns, and they threatened people who came up here after that, up until '83. And they told us that they owned the land, and that if we ever came back here again, they'd shoot our car, or they'd have us arrested. So we stayed away from here after that. But folks, the people from Barron County, down in Barron, Wisconsin, south of Rice Lake, they own this land now. They asked me to come down there, and I met with some of their board members and their Forest Service guy and their administrator. And they said, we have designated this land, we had this land designated as a National Historic Site. And I looked it up, and sure enough, this whole area is designated National Historic Site. Why? Because of the Ojibwe who mined this, used it. And those guys at Barron, they sent us a paper, and what it is they have asked us to come back here and keep using this quarry.
Whoa.
They've asked us to come back here. That's the reason it was made a National Historic Site, because of our people. So we need to come back now. They welcomed us back, and the sheriff came out here. We all walked out here. Mark and I came out and met with them here. And even the sheriff, we did a pipe ceremony here, and they were impressed. And they said, the sheriff says, you're going to drive up and down the road here, let these farmers know around here they better not bother you anymore, ever. So he went up and down the road. So I was saying, if you guys see a patrol car go by, that's somebody protecting us today. And whenever any of our people come back here now to use this, they have promised to protect us, and they want us to be here. Now we're still working on getting a transfer of the subsurface mineral rights from Cornell University to the LCO tribe.
Oh.
And the letter that the Barron County sent to us, to our tribal chairman, on April 3rd, I got a copy. I'll show you later. They tell us they want us here, and they said, we want you here for your spiritual, your ceremonial, and your educational purposes. For all the tribes in the Lake Superior Chippewa, and that's 6 Chippewa tribes of Wisconsin, and the Mississippi band of Chippewa. That's all those people in Minnesota. And if anybody came here from Ho-Chunk, they'd welcome them too. But now we have that letter, and we should get that distributed so that people know this is now has been set aside for our use. And there's those guys over there who work so hard. Bob and Bob, Johnny Boy are among the guys that work here, and I forget your name. John. Yes, John. You guys, I can't tell you how hard they work. You guys were carrying big logs like this, dragging them on. And they were removing those rocks down there. They opened that up. That was hard work, you guys. They did it for us, and there it is now, back the way I remember it 40-some years ago. I just want to say that before I introduce Neo Gijigokwe, who's going to hold a ceremony conducted by the LCO women walkers. You guys, when we do ceremonial things in the earth, that's our mother. The things that are down in the earth is our mother. And in the old days, the women took care of those things for us. And I think we get away from those things nowadays. We kind of look, we always seem to be in a hurry, and we forget about that. So I am so grateful that Michelle and Neo Gijigokwe are going to start this ceremony for us. And that's all I want to say. I just am so proud of everybody who came here today. You guys, those old men, they were really worried, that we lost this place. And just to see our people here again, the way we used to. Those guys said in the old days, over 100 years ago, they said there was wigwam frames around over here where the people used to come and they'd throw their cover over them, and then they'd stay here for a few days. But that was over 100 years ago. They said there was wigwam frames, different places around here. And people came here all the time. Those photos of Chief Buffalo, his pipes came from here, from way up in Madeline Island. And Kawense, our headman, his photos are in of him with these pipes that are about this long, big long pipes like this. That's where his pipes came from here. Our people used this, and they wanted us to stay here. And some of these guys were talking Wednesday about bringing our people back here occasionally. and having some of our get-togethers here. We should do that because this is a healing place for our people. When somebody lost a baby, the couple would come here for 3 or 4 days and stay here to heal. That's all I got to say.